That's okay. No, we'll figure out later. For now, which one is that? Quran?
Bismillah. We have our first Quran class in Musalla Western, right?
Yeah.
Inshallah.
No, with Quran and science.
Quran
We
and
have
science.
first
Right.
Quran yesterday.
That's right.
It was working fine before, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So you have to look at the notes. It'll come up right there. No?
No. I can get I have another screen.
Why don't we do, doesn't it automatically detect, because it's a window, right? Because we have our
Should
laptop,
sync,
it's,
yeah.
and it did sync
But-
actually before.
How can we put it back now?
Log in.
Yeah, I can't see my screen. Oh. I guess I have to do it here and
Is it
change it
connected
from
properly?
the...
Can we use what's that called? We use HDMI actually. We don't use,
You do?
we use HDMI.
No, that doesn't make any difference.
Really?
So whatever we did here, it's... We need to get it back. You know how you turn it off to two? It's showing somewhere else.
We are trying to introduce a new class here, Quran and science, for these children. And they go to a secular school, they go and
Yeah,
read
because
physics
that's what
and they
we
read
used to-
water
that's what
cycle.
how we
You know,
used
the
to
Florida
connect.
schools, they teach you science.
Once
You
it's
learn
connected,
like how the water cycle runs.
Yeah.
the only thing
And
is
these
to
are
pick.
things which are also found in the
The
Quran.
settings which
So
you
what we are
have,
trying to do is,
screen sharing the other,
introduce
like
you
you
guys
select
all these things.
sharing, I guess,
There are
and
more
then
than 750 verses on ilm related to science and Quran. So this is the first class we are having here. And you learn that this year and you learn it in the school. I'm a teacher in the school.
I know, it
So
has actually been
I've been
changed.
through college, I've been
Can
teaching
you
in
turn off
college.
the lights for one?
Go turn the light on, please.
Let's see if there's something. Oh, that thing is on.
Yeah, we took it
Oh,
off
you
to
did.
get that reset first.
Just do the source and put it back to VGA.
Yeah, right, source.
The
It never
acid.
takes that long.
But these,
How
one
long?
is your-
It never takes that long.
it's okay. We learn and then. See the batti वापस बंद करना.
Fuck.
So you can see it.
Somebody needs to stand by the light now. Don't go on and off, just... That's it.
Okay, here you go.
VGA, that's fine. Okay, see it, hold it, okay.
So did you want to do all the setup is gone?
I don't know. Connect this. Oh, you can.
Yeah, this is so we can see the screen.
There you go. Yeah, it's good to see
Now
stuff.
we need to reset that. You can do it on the screen.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। ये हमारी क्लास जो है ये ज़रा यूनिक सी क्लास है जो कि स्कूलों में और मदरसों में नहीं पढ़ाई जाती। हमारे मदरसों में दारुल उलूम में जो कि हमारे 1000 साल पहले पढ़ाई जाती थी। ये साइंस का जो जिक्र ना कुरान में 750 से ज़्यादा जिक्र है, तो उसका हम दोबारा किस तरह उसको रीइंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं अपने बच्चों में जो कि स्कूल जाते हैं। क्योंकि हमें नहीं बताया गया, तो हम जो रिचुअल्स हैं, नमाज़ पढ़ते हैं, हज करते हैं, रोज़ा रखते हैं, लेकिन ये जो पार्ट है कुरान का पूरी एक एजुकेशन सिस्टम है जो कि हमने कभी समझा भी नहीं और उसको नाफिज नहीं किया। क्योंकि इसमें थोड़ा सा लेवल को आपको बैकग्राउंड होना चाहिए। कोई आपने केमिस्ट्री पढ़ी या कोई केमिकल इंजीनियर, सिविल इंजीनियरिंग आपने पढ़ी, तो कोई थोड़ा सा उसका बैकग्राउंड होना चाहिए, तब आप जल्दी समझते हैं इसको। तो इंशाल्लाह कोशिश है कि इसको हर क्लास को बढ़ाएँ और बच्चे आएँ, खासकर बच्चों के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है। इंशाल्लाह, जज़ाकल्लाह।
All right, brothers, please be patient. So we apologize. We haven't said.
Allah reward us everybody for being here and having patience.
कुछ चीज़ हटा दीजिए आपसे ताकि आप अपना माइक रख सकते
It's
हैं.
even smaller now, it's bigger.
Okay. See, open. No, go mic?
It doesn't. The way we connected it
F5.
F5, yeah.
F5. You see F5.
is now missing my side here. The way we get it there too. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I did.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم ومن تبعه بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. First of all, apologize for all the inconvenience and technical difficulties we are having. So, a couple of things that didn't take place. As you know, that this is a very active week, alhamdulillah, in ICW's kind of history. Is this week we started few classes. Wednesday we had the Tajweed class that opened. This is the first day we had this last Wednesday, and it's going to continue every week. All the brothers are invited to come and learn how to recite Quran. Very basic, we are not going advanced. Inshallah, the very basic recitation of Quran. So we started that class Wednesday, and for sisters, by the way, there is a Saturday class for the same purpose. And today we are starting this series, Quran and Science, or Miracles of Quran. And tomorrow we have family night. So our announcements kind of didn't really sink into people. I think we have confused people more than anything. So they are thinking tomorrow is the family night, today is also a family event. So maybe you can spread the word around that going forward, every Wednesday and every Friday there is an activity between Maghrib to Isha. That's one thing. Family nights that is taking place tomorrow, that only happen once a quarter. So this is a quarterly family night. Every 3 months we do that. So that's tomorrow. That's an kind of an unusual event, although it's periodic every 3 months. So knowing that, so understand that, keep in mind. The brief announcement I want to make is today's class and Wednesday's class is a sequence of a program that we are inshallah trying to establish in this masjid, Islamic Center of Western, which is, we kind of envision this is Quran 360, that we approach Quran from all different areas. Quran has a recitation aspect. How to recite properly is very important. So that is covered in the Wednesday class. Quran has a tahfiz aspect, to memorize. So inshallah in future we will have a memorization session also. You can sit down and memorize other than those days that we already have. Third thing is understanding Quran, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran that this is a book full of blessings, so that they may contemplate through the ayahs and understand the ayahs and do tadabbur, and then they may remember it. So understanding, implementing, remembrance is also very important as just recitation. So that is covered on Sunday morning. So the whole idea is if you attend these classes for 3 months, inshallah, you would have decent amount of knowledge with respect to Quran. And in future we will also plan on opening a class of Arabic language, which is another dimension of Quran. Is in order to understand Quran better, we do need some basic grammar of Arabic. So with that we will complete inshallah our 360. We'll continue the journey, but we'll add more classes to supplement. And these classes are open for everyone, all ages, no age boundary, and they are all free of charge. Whatever you donate to the masjid, inshallah, that's going to the one pool, and we all benefit as a community. But there is no specific entrance fees or anything. All of you are invited. All of you join. Sunday morning class, that is for kids only. That's maybe exclusive for kids of certain age, over 7 and less than being adult. So that class is exclusive. Saturday afternoon, 4 to 6 sisters class cover 3 aspects: Tajweed, Tafsir, and Tafheem of Quran. So overall, inshallah, we will develop a program that everyone can benefit and inshallah learn something. So with that, I will give to Brother Abu Khalid Abbas, who is accepted gracefully to teach us Miracles of Quran. So that's the first set of series inshallah.
complete stationery. Okay. Jazakallah khair.
So if you don't complete today's session, we can go to next week, because next week we are coming back.
Yeah, I'll be probably brief. Yeah. Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. الأول الذي ليس قبله شيء والآخر الذي ليس بعده شيء على العرش استوى له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وما بينهما وما تحت الثرى وأصلي وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وآل بيته الكرام وأحييكم بتحية السلام وتحية السلام فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
We start this series, and Jazakallah khair, the founders of this masjid who have supported the idea, because this idea is really important to our youth as well as the rest of our community. Our youth are highly can benefit from this because it's embedded into our deen and our Quran, and most of the curriculums, as Brother Umran has provided some of these books that are being taught in some of the first to 12th grade books, and they do mention many facts about scientific facts that we do have evidence of it in the Quran, as we will see during this series. So Jazakallah khairan for this initiative, and he is steering a process so that we can provide this information to some of the Islamic schools around the area. Jazakallah khairan. So we start with the series on the Quran and science. And the Quran and science, as we know, the Quran is a book that is full of many miraculous evidences, and science meets with the Quran and not the other way around. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في سورة الحجر آية 9 آية 9 إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون. ثم يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى وإنه لتنزيل رب العالمين في آية الشعراء 192. And في سورة فصلت يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى إن الذين كفروا بالذكر لما جاءهم وإنه لكتاب عزيز. The كتاب meaning the Quran. Ayah 42 says لا يأتيه الباطل من بين يديه ولا من خلفه تنزيل من حكيم حميد. سورة فصلت. These ayahs present to us that this is a book that Allah has kept throughout the ages, and it's good for every time and period. And Allah sort of respects the scholars as they are the inheritance of the Anbiya. في آية 28 في سورة الفاطر إنما يخشى الله من عباده العلماء إن الله عزيز غفور. This is given the respect of the ulama and what they do to the people to educate them of the ilm. Al-ilm can be any ilm, whether it's science or whether it's sharia or anything that benefits the humanity. وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا. So we embark on al-i'jaz fil Quran, which is the miraculousness of the Holy Quran. The miracles of the Quran vary in many ways, and some of the 12 prominent areas of which the Quran provides miracles first in the area of al-i'jaz al-ilmi. Al-i'jaz means whatever the humans are unable to come up with on their own, yet it matches, it's proven, it matches with whatever the scientific findings have come up with. The Quran provides the evidence, and we as people, either back in the days of the first Mufassirin,
have been able to explain the evidences of ayat with respect to the muhkamat that we have seen. Those have no other meanings other than Allah has explained to us. النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام في السنة المباركة. المتشابهات is what we always look on. As in the early days of the revelation of the Quran, science and technology were not present as they are now. Some of the things that we could not explain has been explained nowadays and will be explained as the Quran has said some of the stuff that you will find in a later time of life. The second إعجاز هو الإعجاز اللغوي. It is the linguistic miracles of the Quran. And this can fall into how precise the Quran is. One word could mean hundreds of meanings that no other language can provide. The third إعجاز, which is الإعجاز العددي, which is the numerical miracles of the Quran. And there are hundreds of evidences of miraculous numeric miracles that the Quran has brought up with. And the fourth one is the Ijaz al-Akhlaqi. So many evidences of how our social fabrics are constructed. ثم الإعجاز التشريعي, legislative, followed by the الإعجاز التاريخي. So many stories in the Quran have been told and were told that brought so many miraculous information. Also the Ijaz al-Tarawabi, the educational, followed by the Ijaz al-Nafsi, how the psychological well-being of the human being can be shaped around the ayat of the Quran. ثم الإعجاز الاقتصادي, economical, followed by the Ijaz al-Idari, administrative, and the 11th one is the Ijaz al-Tanabbi. So many ayat of the Quran said something that predicted something else. And the last one is al-Ijaz al-I'tiqadi, is this the dogmatic miraculous of the Quran. In this lecture, we will embark on different surahs in the future, inshallah, and some of these could fall into it and we will touch on it. But basically, it'll be most of the Ijaz al-Ilmi, which is the evidences of science, of the evidences of the ayat that have come in the Quran. Just touching on the Ijaz al-Lughawi for Quran, even the hatred of the Islams during the time of Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, you know, he had so many enemies, yet they could not take away how miraculous the Quran was. أذكر قصة الوليد ibn al-Mughira, who was a very rich person in Mecca at the time, and he was من علية القوم في Mecca. He was one of the biggest leaders, and he could not say nothing but miraculous things about the Quran. What he said is that after talking to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, he came to see Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, and النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام قرأ له من الآيات. عندما سمع الآيات, he read to him some of the آيات of Quran, and he couldn't say but والله إنه لقول الذي يقول لحلاوة وإن عليه لطلاوة وإن أعلاه لمثمر وإن أسفله لمغدق وإنه يعلو ولا يعلى عليه وما هو بقول بشر. المغيرة هو كافر, you know, he never adopted Islam. But he said this saying that Nabi ﷺ has read on him, said it is nowhere near a power. It is nowhere near anything he has ever heard or seen. It's never anything that would go on top of it or below it. It is something out of the ordinary that no one can say. And obviously the story goes on. Abu Jahl came to see him and he asked him to denounce al-Risala and all that. But this is the qawl of the kafirin about al-Quran itself. So that's من إعجاز الأدبي واللغوي للقرآن الكريم. إعجاز العددي, if you can just pay a little attention to some of the numbers here. إعجاز العدد deals with the numbers and how numbers are set in the Quran in such a way that no single author, no single mathematician can bring it into its place with that much preciseness, without error. أذكر سورة النحل في قوله تعالى سورة النحل آية 68. سورة النحل ترتيبها في القرآن, the numbering of the Quran is سورة 16. Pay attention to the آية 16. يقول الله سبحانه وتعالى وأوحى ربك إلى النحل أن اتخذي من الجبال بيوتا ومن الشجر ومما يعرشون. This is the ayah about the Nahl. And subhanallah, Nahl is the bees. The word al-Nahl only mentioned once in the Quran. Just once. And if you look at the word in red, it's the fourth word. And if you count the numbers from the first of the letter Waw all the way to the end of Kalimat al-Nahl, to the end of the word Nahl, Lam, you will see 16 letters. 16 letters that matches the Surah al-Nahl in itself, the Tartib Surah al-Nahl. ثم كلمة النحل في القرآن لم ترد إلا مرة واحدة. The second miracle of that surah. The last ayah of Surah al-Nahl is number 128. And number 28 has 32 words. If you divide 128 divided by 32, you get 16. Can that be by coincidence? I don't think so. Also, ترتيب كلمة النحل, the sequencing of النحل من بداية السورة, from the beginning of the Surah al-Nahl all the way to the word where the Nahl ends, the number of words are 884. From the beginning of Surah al-Nahl all the way to the to كلمة النحل, 884 words. The number of ayah is 68. And the number of words in ayah 68 is 13. You can count them. If you multiply 68 times 13, and what you will get is 884. The number of words from the beginning of the surah all the way to the Nahl, Kalimat al-Nahl. That cannot be by coincidence. And there are so many things, ayahs in the Quran that we will touch on as we go through the order of the Quran on the tafsir surah from the scientific and the numeric perspective. Move to the next slide. So the miracles of the Holy Quran from a scientific perspective. Ayah number 88 من سورة النمل تقول وترى الجبال تحسبها جامدة وهي تمر مر السحاب صنع الله الذي أتقن كل شيء إنه خبير بما تفعلون. And this ayah talks about al-jibal, the mountains, and how they are embedded into our earth as if they are moving in the sky. Moving as the clouds move in the sky. Sahab means the clouds in the sky. They move. And scientifically speaking, I will introduce in this yes, most of the time I will introduce the scientific version, then I come up with the ayah. But in the beginning, it just kind of came this way. So the Quran al-Karim, mentioned many aspects of the universal findings around us, from the mountains to the stars to the skies to everything underneath, the seven skies, the seven earths. And as we, it's scientifically proven that the mountains do move about 18 millimeter per year. Scientifically, it has been proven in different reports. We'll look at it a little further on. And there was a report back in 2007 in which some of the scientists have studied how the continents are moving with respect to one another. And they are moving at about 18 millimeters the whole entire continents, including the clouds, including the mountains, move about 18 millimeters per year. So why do we study the scientific miracles of the Quran? In this day and age, and as we live in this country and in the Western world, the language they understand best is the language of science and the language of numbers. As we all know, when Al-Quran was first descended, the first ayah was Iqra. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. And it wasn't how do we do wudu, how do we pray, how do we do other ahkam al-zakah wal-salah. It told us how to read. And this is how important knowing the knowledge is, because it is the language of today. And how, if we know how to embark on education in different aspects, we know how to understand the Quran. And reading it and and memorizing the Quran is a great virtue, yet understanding it is farther more rewarding. So as we live in this country, sometimes different times we can talk about many stories of scientists, whether they are cardiologists or astrologists or astronomers, or even politicians, who have embarked on something so small in some of the ayat that converted their life because it made sense to them, because it came to them through objective issues. They learned, they saw the science of it, they saw how it meant, and it clicked to them. We talked about the cardiologist Maurice Bucali, who accepted Islam because he could not explain how the pharaohs have died, and how they were able to, how the Quran showed that he died from being drowned in the sea. Yet he found it in 1950 something, when he got. So when he looked at it and he said, "You have a book that had it, this cannot be a book from a man. It has to be a book from some kind of a higher authority," and he accepted Islam. So this is how much most Westerners, scientists can accept Islam through a small something. That's why it becomes our duty in this country to understand the Quran in its full content, particularly from its scientific aspect. So, this lecture will touch upon just the universe. We were not going to go further than, and universe includes the skies. The creation of Earth, the creation of the universe. There have been many theories about the creation of the universe, and the most famous scientist reports indicated how the Big Bang Theory. And the Big Bang Theory, as some of you may have heard it, and it will be taught in different schools, that it was through cosmic eruption. Everything was dust, dukhan, and it erupted from a single point. That was through it's called cosmic dust. And the Quran يأتي بآية في سورة فصلت آية 11 يقول رب العالمين ثم استوى إلى السماء وهي دخان فقال لها والأرض آتينا طوعا أو كرها قالتا آتينا طائعين. The ayah says, when Allah created السماء, and السماء, everything that is above you. السماء could be, in our literal meaning, it could be the roof, or it could be anything higher on top of you. And the sama, during that time, it was the open universe, which was all full of cosmic dust. And scientists refer to it as eruption of dust. Al-Quran, 1400 years ago. And by the way, scientists have arrived to that no more than 50, 60 years ago. Quran introduced this ayah 1400 years ago when it says everything was made from dust with this ayah. وهي دخان. Dukhan is dust, smoke, gassy smoke. ثم the Big Bang Theory states that it was a massive eruption. The Quran Kareem 1400 years ago says in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah 30, أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَنَّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ كَانَتَا رَتْقًا فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Meaning, do they not see that the samawati wal-ard, samawat including the entire universe, wal-ard, samawat and earth, were ratqan. Ratqan means one unit. فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. Fatq is the division. So the skies and the universe were all created at once, and al-ard also. However, the division of those three came in later, and we will see in the next ayah. This was the meaning of this ayah. They were one unit and they got separated in Surah Al-Anbiya. Then scientists have looked at the age of the universe. There have been many theories at the age of the universe, and there were many calculations scientists have arrived to, and some of these symbols indicate that. And there is a formula to calculate the age of the universe with T. The next slide indicates how the older of the universe is 13.77. That's the most accepted age of the universe. And the scientists have determined in 3 different ways.